The judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request.
And the court said no.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss. Are her lawyers dumb? Is this truly a win for Justin and a loss for Blake?
Absolutely a win for Justin, and you're absolutely right, Andy, in your interpretation of the document. What they said is basically, they told you to go, you have to go meet and confer and see if you can come up with more narrow requests.
There's a lot of this sort of like Blake complaining that they're evading the privacy, they're doing all this, but then meanwhile, right, she's on Saturday Night Live with Ryan making jokes, hitting back. I mean, is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
In a startling change of circumstances. In a legal battle that has left Tinseltown reeling from accusations and counter-accusations, Hollywood's golden girl Blake Lively is at the center of a storm that could damage her impeccable reputation and undoubtedly rock the entertainment industry as a whole.
Blake's case is falling apart. She's destroying her cred. Ryan.
Why is Blake Lively in this situation? And what does this astounding ruling mean for her career? Her husband, the charming Ryan Reynolds, is also affected by this turmoil. Keep checking back as we explore the finer points of this well-known litigation, keeping us on the edge of our seats at every turn.
I'm not asking anyone to not believe anyone. I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
It appears that Brian Fredman, Justin Baldwin's attorney, was right when he advised all parties to put their cards on the table. According to reports, the court played a leaked audio recording during its proceedings, which revealed that Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds were allegedly attempting to conceal
a bully a bully attacking somebody. The bully being Blake Lively and her powerful lawyers. And thank goodness Justin's got support to be able to fight back.
The public's interest in this high-stakes drama is at an all-time high, and the world is waiting impatiently for the court's revelation. At this point, it appears that Justin Baldwini may have the upper hand in this case. At the court hearing on March 4th, 2025, Blake Lively's legal team, led by Meryl G. Sky, requested a protective order to limit the public release of certain evidence, including private communications between Lively and prominent Hollywood figures. They contended that releasing these communications could result in needless harm to those not directly involved in the case and could lead to excessive media speculation. In addition to getting everyone talking about Blake Lively's alleged bullying, personality, this request has spurred discussion on how to strike a balance between privacy and transparency in well-known legal cases.
Justin Baldoni has built his brand and is known for supporting women, believing women. So why in this case should people not believe Blake Lively?
I'm not asking anyone to not believe anyone. I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there, lay them out, put them on a website for the world to see, have them see the truth and determine the truth for themselves.
Speaking of Boney, her legal team argued against the motion made by Lively's attorneys, arguing that the current protective order was adequate and that no special treatment should be given because of her celebrity status. They also claimed that transparency in the proceedings was essential to ensure fairness and keep the case from being litigated in secret, since, after all, Baldwin's lead lawyer has always demanded that everything be done in the open.
Lawyers are stupid. It's like he's like being nice here. He's like, your lawyers are really stupid.
Lively believed she was fully armed and prepared to destroy Baldoni in court that day. The judge's response must have destroyed her confidence. However, reports reveal that Blake Lively crashed out during the proceedings, right in front of both parties and onlookers. And boy, that was not a pretty sight. Judge Lewis Lyman, who presided over the matter, completely thrashed Lively's attorneys on that very day. Judge Lyman was equally prepared. He took one hard look at their irrational request and slapped them with a response no one saw coming. Blake Lively and her team entered the courtroom that day with an aura that screamed, "We are armed with information no one is aware of." Or should I say, they looked ready to deliver the final blow to end this case without them knowing. I'm talking full-on meltdown in the middle of the court, and even her attorneys were visibly embarrassed by her antics. The judge legally referred to Blake's legal team as stupid because he was astounded that the learned colleagues would make such demands in court. He said, "Your lawyers are stupid," but the humiliation didn't stop there. The judge's decision will allow for a live audio feed of the court hearing on Thursday, March 13, 2025. What does this mean? Well, let's imagine that Blake Lively's court drama is broadcast live to the entire world.
Justin Baldoni universe, a judge is allowing the internet to join court. Not entirely for the whole court case, but for this Thursday, we'll be sharing live audio, not video, just audio of what goes down.
Wouldn't that be something? I mean, I can't wait until Thursday, and I'm sure you feel the same way. This time, Blake and her husband Ryan won't be able to come up with any more public relations gimmicks or childish antics because everything that happens in court will be posted online for everyone to see. At this point, Lively thinks she has the upper hand, demanding various injunctions and the most absurd court subpoena. Little did she know that it would all fall apart on her and her husband. Speaking of her husband, Ryan Reynolds, what exactly is his role in all of this?
Who else? Who else has a question?
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
It is not surprising that Ryan Reynolds is playing his wife's shadow, because that was Ryan a few weeks ago with his cherished wife on the SNL 50th anniversary special. What else would we expect from one of the sexiest couples in Hollywood? But why does Ryan seem to be shadowing his wife's dubious? You don't understand what I mean by this behavior, do you?
Blake Lively and her actor husband Ryan Reynolds want to keep their messages with seemingly their A-list friends out of the hands of the public.
Justin Baldoni is not paying his legal bills, which are...
As it turns out, Blake Lively is not only allegedly doing everything in her power to thwart the justice system, but her husband is also following her instructions. It seems that neither of them has considered doing things correctly, as Ryan Reynolds has opted to follow his wife's instructions. Additionally, Justin Baldwin decided to sue him, so join the queue. Reynolds.
Actor-director Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, seeking more than $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion.
It all began when Lively filed a report about severe emotional distress with the California Civil Rights Department in late December. She claimed that she had been sexually harassed by Baldwin and key co-stars, and that they attempted to start a smear campaign against her with the assistance of Baldwin's production company.
There was a feud between the two, and that they positively hated one another because they were promoting this film and these articles started leaking, really initially not in Justin's favor at first, basically saying that he had been inappropriate on TMZ, saying that he asked her about her weight and because he had to lift her for a scene.
In order to ensure that she works in a safe and professional environment, Lively made certain demands during a meeting with the parties involved, as highlighted in her complaint. These demands included no more showing Blake naked videos or pictures of women, no more discussing sexual conquests in front of Blake and others, and no more mentioning cast and crew's genitalia. No more questions about Blake's weight or reference to Blake's deceased father, but that wasn't when Lively's lawsuit against Baldoni began. It started when Baldoni filed a lawsuit against the New York Times after it published Blake Lively's complaint.
A couple weeks ago, you guys might remember on New Year's Day, there were two lawsuits that were filed. Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, claiming harassment took place by Baldoni against her on the set of It Ends With Us, and that an orchestrated smear campaign took place behind the scenes with his PR team. And they had these text messages, and then a little bit before that lawsuit was filed, there was this explosive piece in the New York Times with this very dramatic headline from the publicist saying, "We can bury anyone."
Blake was the subject of retaliation, according to a statement from Lively's representative, because she raised concerns about sexual harassment and other inappropriate behavior she and other cast and crew members experienced shooting the film. As it happens, the aforementioned meeting was intended to address Lively's concerns. Naturally, reports indicate that her husband Ryan attended the meeting along with other significant co-stars and crew members from the film. After that, the powerful lawsuit between Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni started.
But then suddenly, right before Christmas on December 20th, Blake Lively filed a complaint against Justin Baldoni and others in California, claiming sexual harassment.
It all started when Blake and Ryan were accused of being dishonest in court. Blake would level serious charges and make demands of the court that made the situation worse than it should have been.
Lively obtained all of these text messages through subpoena. Okay, what's subpoena? You can only issue a subpoena if you have an open legal case. So you have to have a valid legal case. I can't just issue a subpoena to, the New York.
Actually, let's discuss how irrational Blake Lively's demands were. To start, her legal team requested an astounding amount of phone data from Justin Baldwin and his public relations representatives spanning 2.5 years. I'm referring to text messages, phone calls, doctor's appointments, and even the GPS tracking of his every step over the previous 2.5 years. What was Blake's motivation for all of this? It all seems stalkerish to me.
Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that Justin Baldoni and Justin Heath and the PR agents have ever sent to everybody, plus location data. We knew that was gonna.
Blake went all FBI on Justin's ass in court, but the judge didn't put up with any of her nonsense. Perhaps she had worked with the FBI before and forgot how. Ordinary citizens make demands in court, but she's never done that. Even if Blake Lively's accusations against Just and Baldoni were true, which they aren't, it would only make sense for Blake to demand the phone records of Baldoni and his PR agents from August 2024, or perhaps even from the beginning of 2024, to the present, rather than the absurdity she was demanding in court the other day. Blake was just on a typical Hollywood star power trip, but Judge Lyman literally said that her demands couldn't work in my court and struck them out.